Welcome back and forth podcast, back at you. So we have a pretty big event on Thursday, actually.
Yeah,
and I think
we have a draft.
Yeah,
Let's just save everyone the time. Let's just do these first three picks. Like we don't even have to announce this.
Yeah, you could just. Yeah.
Number one, the Pelicans select Zion Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
Second pick will be made by the Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant. The third pick will be by the New York Knicks, and it's going to be R.J. Barrett. That's already a done deal. We don't even need to put any thought into this. So we'll just go right into the fourth pick rather than wasting people's times because like every other mock draft and everyone's fully expecting, I believe the Pelicans have already told Zion they're taking him number one, and it's the same with the Grizzlies and Knicks, that they're taking Morant and R.J. Barrett. So we'll go on to the fourth pick, which is still technically owned by the Lakers, but it is going to be going to the New Orleans Pelicans. So the Pelicans will obviously, if the Lakers still hold it by draft night, the Pelicans will obviously it's as simple as them telling, who they want them to draft. So the fourth pick, New Orleans Pelicans owning the pick. It will be Jared Culver out of the University of Texas Tech. Jared Culver will be selected by the New Orleans Pelicans. They need a shooting guard to get under Drew Holiday's wing. I believe that's the guy that's going to mentor Jared Culver here. So Jared Culver just fits well into that system. Drew Holiday would be a good mentor to him and eventually would be able to take that starting shooting guard spot. He could also play a little point guard and they can move Alonzo to the two. They can kind of just do whatever they want with him. There's some rumor it would be Darius Garland potentially, but I just think Jared Culver fits best with this team. He can pass. He's able to shoot as well. I think he needs to work on his shooting mechanics a little bit, but he can score the ball, nothing less. And he's great at setting his teammates up and setting plays up for them. So I think they go Culver with this fourth pick.
Number 4 pick. So just for the people at home.
You just could throw in one.
I like being. I almost drew an arrow on that one too. Number 4. I do think they actually go Darius Garland here. And the reason is, I think you still have a little bit of question mark on Lonzo.
He could also play Lonzo at the 2, too. He could play Garland at the 2 as well.
That's what I'm saying. And from what I've been reading and researching, it sounds like a lot of these scouts are really high on Garland. They really like him out of Vanderbilt, Southern School. Kind of seems like it fits nice. And really, I don't think you lose anything by getting Garland. Like you said, you can move Lonzo to the 2. You can have a mentor. There's a lot of movement here. I like Garland out of Vanderbilt.
Well, my 5th pick, this gave me the idea of it, so I'll give credit to this pick here. Mike Schmitz on Draft Express, they were doing a special on ESPN the other day. And at first I thought this was a ridiculous pick, but when I kind of thought about it, I thought it was a good idea. The Cavs with the 5th pick, most people would think it'd be DeAndre Hunter, but I think it's going to be Darius Garland. I think that they have Colin Sexton, but I think these guys can play together. I think these two guards can absolutely 100% play together. And I think that's what Cleveland's going to want to do. They're going to want to play with the guards, and then you'll have Kevin Love at the forward position. And Cleveland could be a pretty solid team coming into next season.
Don't forget J.R. Smith.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's a free agent, sadly. So J.R. Smith may be out his way out of Cleveland. They also have Larry Nance Jr. there. So I think, honestly, and DeAndre Hunter is more of a power forward, really, when I watch him play. I don't see him being that small forward guy. So, this sounds crazy, and I like the idea of Mike Schmitz. If I'm the GM, I'm taking Darius Garland, and I'm going to play with the guards here. So, Cavs taking Darius Garland, which is kind of a little funny because he's with Clutch Sports, and that's LeBron and Rich Paul Sports Agency, and Darius Garland will be going to Cleveland. So, a little funny to me. But, Matt, who will the Cavs will be selected 5th overall here?
I do like the idea of them taking a guard. Obviously, with J.R. Smith being a free agent, they may or may not pick up that or try and re-sign him or whatever. So I do think they go with a little bit of a bigger guard in Kobe White out of North Carolina. That's a position where he could play point if need be. He can play 2.
Well, that's the case. The Suns are screwed now in your mock draft because they can't get a point guard.
In desperate situations, you could move Kobe to the 3 if you needed to. And really, I think that's where the Cavs need hope. Like you said, they have still, I believe, Kevin Love. I do still believe Tristan Thompson. And they seem pretty set with Colin Sexton and guard. So nice piece to help that 3 out.
Well, my guy's pretty much who Matt just took off his board. I think the Suns go Kobe White. This seems the obvious pick as the Suns' most desperate need right now is a point guard, and if they feel they can get D'Angelo Russell or whoever through free agency, you can move Kobe White to the 2, and then you could just put Devin Booker at that 3 spot, or you could have Kobe White come off the bench. I don't know what the Suns have exactly in plan, but to be safe, this is another thing why I think free agency should come first and then the draft, so teams
Absolutely.
can draft what they need. I think it's a little ridiculous that the draft is first, but just to be safe here for the Suns, if they don't end up getting D'Angelo Russell, if they don't end up getting these guys, you have Kobe White, so the Suns need a point guard. They select Kobe White 6 overall. So, Matt, who the Suns take 6?
I do think they stay a little bit bigger. Phoenix does, still in the guard category, and I think they take Jared Culver as kind of see if Jared Culver and maybe Devin Booker can play
Coexist.
Exactly alongside. Might be a little bit fit. It'd be a little bit of a bigger guard duo, but obviously something that could still work out. And I think Jared Culver out of Texas Tech, great piece. We saw him this year. Definitely a lot of.
At the 7th pick here, the Chicago Bulls, they can. I think they go Cam Reddish here, mainly a scoring small forward. You could pair him up with Zach LaVine. I just think, Cam Reddish is one of these guys that has the potential to be one of the best players in this draft class. You obviously didn't see the Cam Reddish everyone thought they were going to see at the University of Duke in his college season, mainly because he had that ankle injuries throughout the year, so that could raise a question mark for some managers not wanting to take not wanting to take him. But I think this might be worth the risk. So I think they take Cam Reddish here, and I think if they end up holding on to Zach LaVine, a Cam Reddish and Zach LaVine duo could be really special. And then you have Laura Markkanen already there in place as well. So I think they go Cam Reddish 7th overall.
Cam Reddish. So Chicago, I think they go a little bit of a safer-ish bet here. I think they go with DeAndre Hunter. Obviously, a guy that picked up a little bit more steam than Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, obviously, to start the season last year, was big hype because he was part of Duke and the big recruiting class that Coach K brought in. DeAndre Hunter, though, played a phenomenal tournament, really good player. And I think this seems a little bit more safer than Cam Reddish, just by a little bit, but 2 very good players.
Where would you put? Oh, you put DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter, yes.
My picks just seem to be coming right after yours because the 8th pick, I think the Hawks are going to be taking DeAndre Hunter.
By the way, we didn't plan this, guys. We didn't plan this at all.
This pick makes a lot of sense for the Hawks because especially I think he's going to be one of the guys that kind of fall this year. You already have Trae Young in the point guard who's going to be the scoring machine. And I think they need somebody on the defensive end. You have Hunter, I believe, already.
Mm-hmm.
The 19th pick out of Maryland last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's another guy. He's a good 3-point shooter they already have in place. Now I think they need somebody who can also score. Hunter, who averaged 15 points a game last year, and someone else who can also play a lot, not even a lot defensively here. So I think they go Hunter. Some have made the comparison to go as far as he is Kawhi Leonard 2.0. I could see that. I don't know about right now, obviously, because he is. Woj just tweeted. Hold on. Okay, it's just a meet and greet thing. Okay, I thought it was. We had a trade going on right here. We might have to change this up a little bit. But I think they go DeAndre Hunter because they're going to need that defensive forward.
All right. And Atlanta, I think, seems like they need maybe a little bit of help on their, like you said, forward position. This is where I think that Cam Reddish does get picked up. Obviously, you have Trae Young, who's a great young talent. Obviously, compare him with Cam Reddish. As far as Cam Reddish, I think he can shoot a little bit. Another guy I haven't really watched a whole lot on, but obviously he's a great talent. He'd be a great pickup, and certainly Cam Reddish, worthy of a lottery pick in my opinion. I don't think that could go really debated.
Yeah. 9th pick here, the Washington Wizards. This is an interesting pick for them. I think they need a small forward. They need a big man. You have either Nassar Little here. You could take Jackson Hayes, and Nassar Little is one of these guys. If he's not taken 9th, he could be one of these guys that fall that 15-20 range. I think he didn't get to play a lot this year in North Carolina, but I just think the potential of Nassar Little, he was one of the best players in high school basketball last year. He had he was supposed to be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. I think that the Wizards being the Wizards, they took Troy Brown last year when Troy Brown was supposed to fall to 22 or 23. I think they go early here and they take Nassar Little out of the University of North Carolina. Nassar Little's very similar to DeAndre Hunter. I think he needs to work on his shooting mechanics and being a better scorer a little bit, but also great player defensively. I think the Wizards go Nassar Little here.
Now with this ninth pick, I think this is one that he's one that moves up a little bit. Obviously, not as big of a jump as we've seen in jump, but a few picks early. I would some point project, and I think it goes PJ Washington. I think a lot of people forgot about PJ Washington in high school, college. Very great player. Obviously, I believe stayed that extra year at Kentucky, and really contributed well. I really liked what I saw out of PJ Washington. I believe even came out of Findlay Prep locally, so got to see him.
He's not from Vegas, but he went to
Findlay Prep. Got to see him a little bit.
He's from
locally.
Texas, I think.
Yeah, so great player. I think one that could move up a few spots. Not a big jumper, but still notable.
At 10th pick here, the Atlanta Hawks, this pick just seems like a no-brainer. They could use a big man right now if the Wizards passing up on a big man. They take Jackson Hayes out of the University of Texas. Jackson Hayes was kind of a late bloomer. He wasn't really on any mock drafts this year, or at least prior to the season starting. But throughout the season, his shot blocking ability and his dominant post game and ability, he earned that right to be a lottery pick or at least a top 10 pick. I just think this guy averaged, I believe, 2.7 blocks a game last year as a freshman, and his game's only going to grow. The Hawks need that dominant big man. They're really getting better defensively here through this draft. They're taking DeAndre Hunter. They're taking Jackson Hayes. This is an A-plus draft if this is what the Hawks end up doing. So if he is not taking at that 9th spot, it's just a no-brainer pick for the Atlanta Hawks to take him 10th.
Definitely agree with you on this pick for sure. I do like Jackson Hayes. It's a good fit.
Is that our first same pick?
I believe so.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah. No, you're absolutely right here. Atlanta, they're going to be looking to win this draft. Keep in that rebuild, and maybe Atlanta. There'll be hope for you. Maybe if you're lucky.
Day's coming soon. The 11th pick, the Charlotte Hornets. They've had the same pick now for 2 years in a row, I think. They're going to take small forward of the year in college basketball. His name, Rui Hachimura, I think. I practice saying this, but it's just my pronunciation game is terrible. So let's put Rui H. From the University of Gonzaga. Spent 3 years there.
Rui H.
His game, stepped up a lot this year. I see him more of as a power forward. I don't know how he won small forward of the year. Looking at his film and his highlights, he played more of that power forward position. But nothing less, he can shoot the 3-point ball. He can dribble. And he's a big reason why Gonzaga, made these deep tournament runs these first, at least the 2 years that he was there, because he didn't really play too much his freshman year. He's from Japan. Charlotte Hornets, I think they're going to get Kemba back. You'll have this guy to pair up with Miles Bridges. Both those guys, one can play small forward, one can play power forward. So I like this pick a lot for the Charlotte Hornets.
And actually, it's Minnesota that has.
Oh, Minnesota! I'm an idiot.
Yes.
I still take Minnesota taking him.
Okay.
Let me explain why Minnesota. I got this mixed up right here. Minnesota will take him because even Andrew Wiggins' game has gone down a lot. He was the number one pick. He was supposed to be, this electrifying player. Really, since the acquisition when they got Jimmy Butler, his game stepped down a lot. A lot of people question his heart. And again, he could replace Andrew Wiggins at that small forward position, or he could also play power forward. The Minnesota Timberwolves will need a power forward next season. Taj Gibson's only getting older, and this is a perfect guy to get under Taj Gibson's wing. So I apologize. I thought it was the Hornets at the 11th pick. Thank you. So regardless of who has it, he's going to be that 11th pick. And I honestly think he actually fits better with the Timberwolves because they already have that group of young players there, and he'll be able to fit in well. I think they bring back Gibson, they bring back Jeff Teague, so you have those veterans there to help monitor them. And I think they even go as far as bringing in Vince Carter for his last year in the NBA.
That'd be pretty cool.
Vince Carter, that's what he's kind of been doing, going to these young teams and help mentoring. So I honestly think this is actually a better fit.
Yeah, and I've got obviously a guy that Joe's taken already. He slid a little bit on my board, but still fits in within that Rui H. We're going to go with Rui.
Is it Brandon Clark?
No, it is actually Nasir Little.
Oh.
I think, like you said, could come in and possibly replace Wiggins if they get fed up enough.
They could trade Wiggins, and they could easily trade Wiggins, and that's the replacement right there.
Exactly. So I like Nasir Little, great player, great fit, I think, for Minnesota. And really, if he falls this low in the draft, that's a pretty good steal.
Yeah. Well, now it's the Hornets picking.
Yes,
All right.
now
The Hornets will
get
now
it.
definitely be taking more of a power forward at least. Brandon Clark, another Gonzaga player. Gonzaga player is taken back-to-back on mine. Brandon Clark played at Gonzaga, but you know where he played before that, Matt? The legendary San Jose State University.
Again,
Brandon Clark kind of
one of them?
he kind of played center in his first, well, mainly at Gonzaga, but in the NBA, he's only 6'8". He's undersized for a center. He's going to be playing power forward. What makes this even better, he can block shots. He averaged 3.2 blocks a game, I believe, at Gonzaga. And he can shoot the three ball. This is a huge steal for the Charlotte Hornets and another piece there for Kemba Walker. And then now they'll be able to use maybe Miles Bridges or Malik Monk as an asset to get other guys to help Kemba Walker out for them to at least make the playoffs, for Christ's sake. So you have Brandon Clark. I like him a lot. Again, he could shoot the three ball as a power forward, and he's able to go out there and block shots a lot. Like I said, 3 points. He reminds me of, he's like a little bit, I'm not saying he's Anthony, but he reminds me of Anthony Davis. He can shoot the ball, and he's a great shot blocker. I don't think he'll be Anthony Davis in his career, but I just think they have those two parts of their game are a little bit similar. So the Hornets take Brandon Clark.
So I do think the Hornets, this is where Rui Hirschham.
Rue H, Matt, come on.
Rui H. Okay, we'll just go with that. Rui H. This is where I think he comes into play. It seems like he is a power forward, right?
Yes.
Okay, just double check on that. Hornets do believe, I think they had a little bit of question at that position. It hasn't really seemed so stable. I think this could maybe bring them a little more stability, a guy off the bench, give them more depth, a lot that they can go with this 12th pick, which does leave us to the 13th pick in the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat, most people think they'd take a shooting guard with Dwayne Wade's retirement, but I think Josh Richardson will be able to successfully fill that void who's already on the roster. So I think they take one of the guys that I have had follow my draft, Seaku Deyuambamba. Let's put Siako D. Siako played professionally in France, overseas the past couple of years. He is 18 years old. I believe he's the youngest player in this mock draft, or in this mock draft, in this NBA draft. He averaged only about 7 points a game and professionally over France, which is still fairly good being a 17-year-old kid, because you'll be 18 by the time the draft takes place. But that's still a lot, playing professionally. And, they gave him a lot of minutes during France's playing professionally in France. They gave him minutes during the playoffs, and he had a 34-point game. So that obviously got the eyes of scouts. He had a great pre-draft workout. But I still think, like last year was Michael Porter. I think this year it's going to be Siaku. I think another one of these guys has potential to be. He reminds me a little bit of Giannis. He can play small forward and power forward. He's long. He can shoot the three ball. He's a solid shot blocker. Again, him playing professionally in France, I think, is the up over many other of these guys in this year's draft class. So he reminds me of Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter a lot. He has a potential to be one of the best guys in this draft class. So I think he'd fit perfectly in Miami. He could play that small forward, power forward position. And I don't know if he'll be the next Giannis, but I get a Giannis feeling about him a little bit. So they're going to take the kid out of France, the 18-year-old kid, Siakam.
Well, I'm going to take another, I believe, formerly international player, went to Florida State, Mufiondu. I'm not even going to try that last name. We're just going with Mufiondu K. Obviously, you could pair him with Hassan Whiteside. Makes a very tough front court.
They said his game's more like Al Horford, because the ESPN special, they have the Celtics getting him, and they're like, he's like an Al Horford because he's 6'10" and he can shoot.
I know, but you can.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm saying, you compare him with Hassan.
Yeah,
he'd be a great player.
Good luck getting a shot off on that front court.
Yeah,
Hassan Whiteside and this guy at 6'10".
Yeah,
could be tough.
Good luck.
Which leads us to your favorites.
Boston Celtics. I would think we'd be making a trade on draft night because we don't need 3 first-round picks, but just for the sake of this mock draft, Danny Ainge keeps all these picks. I don't want to be biased. Because I feel like we would make a trade up or trade for a player. But for the sake, I don't want to sound biased. I don't want people like, oh, you're really saying because you're a Celtics fan. So for the sake of this, they keep on to the pick. And I think they take Tyler Hero out of the University of Kentucky. Tyler Hero reportedly blew away Celtics management and scouts in his pre-draft workout. He shot 80 out of 100 from the three-point line there. And the Celtics, what is the one thing they have problems with this year? Three-point shooting. And this just seems like if they hold on to this pick, this just seems like the obvious pick here. You need a three-point shooter. Jaylen Brown, if they maybe move Jaylen Brown, someone who could fill that spot, or even not just a guy off the bench that can come up and knock down threes for the Celtics. And Celtics always take goofy white people sometimes, so they'll take Tyler Hero with this 14th pick.
I do actually like Tyler Hero at this 14th pick, and I think it's more so off the bench to give you guys a little more depth. Like you said,
Yeah.
brings a lot of offense with him, 3-point shooting. It seems like a good pick. Obviously, with rookies, you can't expect a whole lot, but guys can come in, give you a few minutes.
This is a lot more mellow than our last episode.
Very mellow, yeah.
People aren't. 20 minutes ago, me and him were just screaming at each other with the Lakers and Pelicans trade, and now this is all sunshine and rainbows here for the mock draft. So Tyler, we have two or three.
Outside of the top 3, we have 2 picks.
2 similar picks, and I mean every mock draft is the same with these 3 picks. This is pretty much inevitable, bound to
I would say
happen.
if that top 3 doesn't look like that, your source is probably crazy.
Yeah, about 100% chance that happening on draft night. But again, appreciate you guys listening. Again, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Backforth Podcast. Leave comments if you disagree with us. Our buddy Devin always seems to have something to say in the comment section. So,
our favorite
Devin, I'm sure you'll have something to say with this. So go ahead and leave your comments if you disagree with us, or if you think that we missed a player that should be in this lottery spot. Same with that Anthony Davis video. If you think one of us were out of our minds, make sure you agree with us. Make sure you comment in that comment section. But again, appreciate you guys watching and your continuous support of the Back and Forth Podcast. Matt?
Thank you guys. Watch, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do. Like Joey said, if you disagree with us, agree with us, whatever it is, comment. We want to hear from you guys because, like we said, we kind of go insane a little bit listening to each other. We want to hear from everybody else too. So thank you guys. Back and Forth. More content to come. See you later.